Frieren is a beautiful fantasy that takes us back to the roots of the genre, invoking that initial sense of wonder we first felt when we stepped into the Shire. But this video isn't about that. You can find plenty of content talking about Frieren in that way. Instead, I want to get into something deeper, something beyond just nostalgia for a genre. I noticed Frieren puts into words the feelings of loneliness and isolation, and more importantly, the journey of breaking free from that and stepping into meaningful connections. Stark lived a life stuck in his own past, a past where strength and courage were everything, qualities he believed he lacked. He wasn't able to live up to his village's expectations, and no matter how much he trained, he was never acknowledged, constantly overshadowed by his brother, the prime example of a perfect warrior. So when his world was destroyed and all he could do was run and hide, he was ashamed of himself. So he constructed a facade of bravery and strength, masking his true self, a scared boy plagued with worthlessness. But Frieren's entrance into his life began to transform him. She didn't just see through the mask he showed the world. She saw through the person he thought he was. She began to break apart the facade by encouraging him to fight alongside her. By letting him single-handedly kill the Red Dragon, she was able to help him discover his true strength and learn that it's okay to be scared. And for the first time, Stark was able to hold his head up high. Frieren then chose him to join her party as a warrior. As their journey continued, Frieren and Fern helped him unravel his past, acknowledging him as a strong warrior in the same way his village would. The same way the one person he thought he could never live up to did every year for his birthday. Stark was so blinded by the pains he experienced that he was unable to notice the action of those that cared about him. But now he is finally able to understand his past, realizing he was accepted from the beginning. He's no longer stuck as a scared boy. He can now see his worth in all those around him that have chosen him. So now he can start to accept himself and live a life as a strong warrior. Fern lost so much at such a young age that her only option was to grow up quickly. But in that, she shut herself off emotionally, never learning how to express her feelings or truly connect with anyone. She became trapped by her own inability to communicate. So when Frieren, an ageless elf, started to take care of her, their interactions would leave Fern frustrated due to their differing perceptions of time. At first, she didn't know how to express this to Frieren, but with a little push, she learned to talk to her and share her feelings. This marked the beginning of her understanding the critical role of communication. She finally began to connect with Frieren and understand her. But as Stark joined their adventure, Fern's emotional world became even more complex. She was intrigued, yet confused by her feelings towards him, often manifesting as frustration. She wanted him to understand her, but he was struggling just as much. Their relationship reached a turning point when Stark missed getting her a birthday present, leading to a heated argument. This incident, however, became a catalyst for Fern to express her true feelings and vulnerabilities. So she opened herself up to Stark and shared her thoughts. She discovered that Stark's struggles mirrored her own, a shared difficulty in expressing thoughts and emotions. She learned that he cared so much for her, but didn't want to get her the wrong gift and upset her. Through this understanding, Fern began to see the importance of patience and empathy in relationships. and in learning to communicate her deepest emotions, Fern not only understood Stark better, but also herself. For Frieren, time seemed to stand still, not due to a slowly moving world, but because life whirled past her too quickly, leaving her feeling left behind. In response, she constructed a solitary world, a sanctuary where time bent to her will, allowing her to escape the relentless tide of change. This self-chosen isolation was both her shield and her blindfold, protecting yet preventing her from seeing the true beauty of life. But Himmel, unwilling to let Frieren reside into the shadows of her own existence, began to chip away at her barriers, taking her on an adventure where he could gently speak into her life. However, Frieren remained in isolation, unable to understand the things he was saying and the life he was trying to show her. It was only when their mere decade-long journey concluded and Himmel passed away, leaving a void where he once stood, that Frieren's world began to shift. His absence jolted her reality, and her time, once stagnant, surged forward once again. She felt the sadness of losing a friend she wished she had more time with. So Frieren embarked on a new journey to understand everything Himmel showed her. With Fern and Stark, she learned the impact of connections, however brief, can be profound. She discovered the beauty in the ordinary, realizing how mundane experiences can be transformed into something extraordinary when shared through the eyes of companions. Frieren began to listen to not just the voices around her, but also the lingering echoes of everything Himmel said to her, which had resonated deeper with her than she initially realized. No longer alone in a rapidly changing world, Frieren learned the significance of relationships and the transformative power of the voices around her. In the intertwining stories of Stark, Fern, and Frieren, we witness the profound impact of forming connections. Stark's journey from self-doubt to self-acceptance is a testament to the power of perspective and the strength from understanding and embracing one's true self. Fern's growth reminds us that our emotional journey is not just about finding the right words, but also about the courage to be vulnerable and the willingness to listen. A journey that transforms us and strengthens our connections with others. Frieren's transformation is an example that isolation can be both a refuge and a prison, and that stepping out into the world can lead to profound growth and understanding. Together, their stories remind us of how easily we can become trapped in our own perspectives, losing sight of ourselves and those around us. Yet as their experiences show, reaching out and forming relationships can help us better understand our pasts and ourselves, and maybe help make each day less lonely and our burdens less heavy. Frieren is more than a fantasy. It's a lesson in stepping out of isolation and into meaningful relationships, and truly listening to those around us. So reflect on your own experiences and consider how you can step forward into forming deeper connections with people who might be struggling just like you. So share your thoughts on Frieren in the comments and your own journey. Let's build a community where we can support and connect with one another, helping each other through our shared and individual experiences. I'm Advil. See you later.